Well, welcome to Why Sales is More Than Just a Job for Sales Reps. My name is Barry Mitchell, and I'm part of a team called Uncovering Greatness. For over 25 years, I've been in the field of sales, and for the past 10 years, I've specialized in working with individuals and companies. I've worked with thousands of individuals and hundreds of companies around the world, helping them dramatically explode their income and their sales. We've been able to get results anywhere from 20, 30% to as much as 300 to 400% in a matter of months. So I don't know about you, how many of you wouldn't mind dramatically exploding your sales or your income in the next 6 to 12 months? Well, thank you for joining me on this recording, and I'm going to take you through why I believe sales is probably the most critical skill that we need to learn in business and in life. So one of the reasons we decided to set up this particular recording is we have run a number of free preview programs where I will run a 2.5-hour sales training program, and it's designed to do a couple of things. One, it's designed to give people an opportunity to connect with me, to find out how I teach, to see if they like the methodologies that I use and the sales training and teaching that I use. Secondly, it's designed that when someone comes in there after the 2.5 hours, they'll walk out of there with some valuable information and tools that they can immediately apply back into their business and in their life. Whether they take the relationship with me and my business any further and join any of our seminars or not, the core thing right up front is to make sure they get value. So my goal over the next 45 minutes, first up, is to make sure that you get value by learning some key tools and thoughts and mindsets around the field of sales. My second objective is to give you an idea of who I am, what I do, how I teach, and how I go about the things that I do. So again, thank you for joining me, and welcome to Why Sales is More Than Just a Job for Sales Reps. So I'm going to start off by setting some context around how we look at businesses, and when we look at a business, what are the key things that we believe you need to be good at doing to succeed in any business. So when I look at a business, I look at it like this, and I learned this from my mentor, Rich Dad Advisor Blair Singer. I don't know if you've ever heard of Blair. In my opinion, one of the top, if not the top, sales, communication, and trainers on the planet today. And he's been a business partner and an advisor to Robert Kiyosaki for over 30 years. For the past 10 years, I've worked with Blair. It's specialized in teaching what he teaches. And I learned this from Blair, that when we look at a business, there's 6 critical things that we need to be able to do. The first and most important thing in any business is your ability to be able to sell. You've got to be able to sell. Why? Pretty simply, because if you can't sell, you can't earn. So what we say is sales equals income. So wherever you're sitting, I'd like you to say this to yourself, that sales equals income. So say it after me. Sales equals income. Sales equals income. Great. You're probably already starting to think that I'm a little bit loopy. But, you know, a core thing that I've learned in business and life, in fact, I'll share it with you right now. A core thing that I've learned in business and in life is this. And it's that energy is critical. And the critical component about energy is that highest energy wins. In the field of sales, in the field of life, in the field of business, I've learned that the one thing that carries me beyond anything else is the energy that I choose to have when I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm just going to ask you this. When you're doing what you're doing, are you happy being who you're being, or could you choose a different type of energy? When you get up in the morning, what energy do you choose? Is it a winning energy? Is it a positive energy? Is it a negative energy? When you're confronted by people that might not be doing or saying the things that you want them to do or say, do you choose the right energy to change the situation around for a positive, or do you choose the energy that keeps the situation going on in a negative? If you get nothing else out of the next 40 minutes, but you take this away, that the most important thing that you have access to is the type of energy that you take into whatever you're doing. It will dramatically change how you connect with people and the results you get in your life. You know, I don't know if you've ever dealt with the salesperson who sort of slunk into your office and has absolutely no energy. They've sat down. They have no confidence. They're quiet, yet they'll tell you everything about their product, but they just don't have the right energy. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't really get me excited about buying. On the other hand, I don't know if you've ever dealt with somebody who when they walk in, you know that potentially they could have been certified as the village idiot. Well, I say that in jest, but you know, once they start talking, you know that they don't know a lot about the product they're talking about, but they just have this amazing infectious energy that takes them through a process of you just saying, you know, it doesn't matter what they know, man, that energy that they have is just exciting. It's fun, it's positive, it's infectious, it's contagious. So, you know, energy is a choice and energy is contagious. Sales is all about energy. So the first critical thing that we need to do in any business is we need to be able to sell, simply because sales equals income. Once you start selling and you start earning, you start running out of a critical commodity. What do you think that critical commodity is? Yeah, you probably guessed it, it's time. The harder you work, the less time you have. And in order to start leveraging time and going beyond yourself, it's essential in any business that you build a team. Because when you build a team, you start creating that key component that entrepreneurs look for, which is called leverage. And importantly, you need to build a team that can sell. We have a saying that says this: everyone on the team must sell. Everyone must sell. In reality, everyone's selling anyway. But what they should be doing is they should be selling to create positive results. So everyone on your team needs to sell. So in order to go beyond yourself, you've got to build a team. In order to get that team to be able to sell, a core skill that you need to be able to develop is your ability to be able to teach. Now, I went to school. My mum's a teacher. When I went to school, I was confronted by teachers. And I don't know if your experience at school was something similar to mine. I remember that on numerous occasions when I got a new teacher, the new teacher would stand up at the beginning of the year and say, you know, hi, my name is Teacher John or Teacher Jones, and I'll be your teacher this year, and this is how it works in my class, is when I speak, you got it. I'm sure a number of you on this you said to yourself, you shut up. Yeah, you shut up, you be quiet, say nothing. When I ask you a question, then you speak. So when I speak, you be quiet. When I ask you something, you speak. Other than that, don't say anything. And obviously that's generalized, but to a large degree, that's a lot of my memory of school. And what I remember being confronted by was often not someone that really was teaching, but someone that had something to tell me. Tell me what to do. They told me information. They told me to do homework. They told me whether I passed or failed. And on the note of passing and failing, how did I pass or fail? Well, depended on my ability to be able to tell the teacher what the teacher told me. So the better I could be at telling back the teacher what they had told me, the better I would pass. And so to a large degree, we spend a lot of our life being told and learning that the art of telling is the way we should really conduct ourselves. Now, in 25 years of sales and in the last 10 years teaching sales around the world, I don't really believe that's true. I believe the art of teaching rather than telling is essentially this. It's the art of asking questions. It's the art of connecting with people in their world, getting into their world, finding out about them, uncovering problems, but essentially being able to ask questions. When you can ask questions, that's when you can really teach. So just let me ask you this. Do you like being told to do things? I'm going to hazard a guess, 99.99%, you didn't put your hand up. You see, hardly any of us like being told what to do. So I'll ask the question, if we don't like being told what to do, why do we think other people like being told what to do and are going to move through the process? So in the Sales Explosion program, it's a 2.5-day program that I teach. In the Sales Explosion program, a core skill that I teach you in that program is how to ask questions, how to connect with people in their world, and how to make questions something that you do all the time. In that program, I'll teach you how to build a team, and I'll teach you how to build a team that can sell. I'll also teach you how to sell. You see, it's essential that you teach your team, and you teach your team how to sell. Now, what holds a business together? Well, when we look at any business, I believe that a core component and the core driver of the business are these things, and they're called systems. So your ability to uphold systems or not really determines the results that you get out of your business. In sales systems are very, very simple. You know, that one of the reasons I like sales is because it is very simple. It's simple. Look, simple and easy are not necessarily the same things. And just now I'll cover why sales is not that easy. But, you know, sales is simple. You know, the simplicity of sales is a simple sales system. Make some phone calls. Follow up those phone calls by getting some appointments. Follow up those appointments by, for example, getting some demos of your product or your service. Get some demos of your product or service and close a deal. You know, that's essentially a 4-step sales system. So if you were to make 20 phone calls and you were to get 5 appointments, and of those 5 appointments you were to get 2 demos, and of those 2 demos you were to get 1 sale, what that would mean is that for every 20 calls you make, you get a sale. So if you follow that system and you did that every single day, you'd make a sale a day. Now, if you were generating 1,000 Rand per sale, and you want to, and you're doing 20,000 Rand a month, and you want to double that, what do you have to do with your system? The system's simple. Follow the system. What it would mean is that you would need to double the amount of calls you're making, which would double your appointments, double your demos, and double your sales. And that's the simplicity. But what happens is people understand the system, they have all the information around the system, but they don't follow the system. Why? Because what we observe with many people in all areas of life, not only in sales, not only in business, is they lack this. They lack accountability. What we observe with business owners that are building teams is that often they lack the ability or they lack the drive to hold people accountable. And that's why people get frustrated, and that's where we hear things like, but I told people to do this, and they just won't do what I told them to do. Well, the core difference there is there's a key difference between teaching and selling. In the sales, teaching and telling. See, telling is not selling. Selling is teaching. So if you want to be good at sales, you've got to be good at teaching. Good at teaching, you've got to ask questions. And when you learn how to teach people, and when you can teach people the system, and they buy into the system, you'll find it much easier to hold and drive accountability through the team. One way that we help businesses and individuals do that is we teach them how to build what we call a code of honor, a set of rules that determines how we play the game. So when you look at this business, when you get the bottom part right, the right systems, the right accountability, that is the key driver for your business. That drives your business forward. Then that allows you to be able to get out and sell. Why? Because sales equals income, and income drives businesses. The lifeblood of your business is the amount of income that comes in. More businesses, more entrepreneurs die from cash flow problems than anything else. Not from knowledge, not from passion or lack of knowledge or lack of passion, but from cash flow problems. And that drives everything else down. So, let's talk a little bit about what sales is really. So, I've already said that when we look at sales, for me, the simplicity of sales is this, is that sales equals, you probably said it as I was going through this. Sales equals income. The better you sell, the better you earn. So if your business struggles to generate income over a period of time, it'll go into debt. When it goes into debt, what'll happen? Yeah, it'll die. You'd have to liquidate it. So the lifeblood of business is income, and the lifeblood of income is your ability to sell. Your lifestyle's the same. Your personal life's the same. Is that the better you sell, the better income you generate, the more income you generate, the better the lifestyle you can live. So which stands to reason that sales equals income and income equals life. Now, in business income is denoted by money. Yeah. What about the income that you generate out of a partnership, a business partnership? Well, a core income that I've seen in business partnerships is trust. Strong partnerships build strong bonds of trust. Business partnerships very often break down when they break down because of a breakdown in trust. So the income that when you're out selling, when you're communicating, when you're expending energy and you're in a partnership, you want to build trust. Your partner wants to see you build trust. What about the income of a marriage between a husband and a wife? Well, ladies, what income do women want? Well, my observation and through my studies, I've realized and learned that women want love. The ultimate income that they want is to feel that they are truly, truly loved. Now, do men necessarily want love? No. The income that men want is this. Is respect. Men want to be respected, women want to be loved. Now, if there's an imbalance in that and people in a relationship are not getting that income, then that relationship over a period of time, if it's not addressed, will fall apart. So you see, it doesn't matter what area of your life you're in, when you're selling, when you're out communicating, when you're expending energy, connecting with people, doing things in order to get things returned. Look, if you don't like sales, change it to the word communication. When you're communicating, what's the income that you're getting in return? What are you generating back? And if it's not what you're getting, you're going to start dying. You see, pretty simply, sales equals income and income equals life, which stands to reason that sales is a life skill. Now, that was one of the reasons I wrote my book, Sales is a Life Skill, because what I observed working with many people is that many people don't see themselves as people in sales. Many people see sales as something that people with the gift of the gab do, people that have a skill for communication do, people that can lie, cheat, and steal do, people that are sales reps do. The reality is this: we all sell every single day. Every single one of us is always selling. The question I'm going to encourage you to ask yourself is this one: not what are you selling? Okay, not what am I selling, but rather what are others buying? What are others buying? When I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm being who I'm being, what are other people buying? And are they buying what you want them to buy? Or are they buying something totally, totally different? So you see, sales equals income, income equals life. At the Sales Explosion program, I will teach you and take you through processes that'll equip you to become great in sales and communication so that you can take probably the most important life skill and start applying it into your life and into your business to totally change the level of income that you have. So, what's the single most important sale of all? Well, I believe the first and most important sale of all is the sale we make to ourselves. See, I learned from my mentor, Blair Singer, that the most important thing we have is this. And this is a picture of your brain. You know, well, how many of you might have a brain like this? A little bit empty. How many of you know people that might have a brain like that? Yeah, you know, Og Mandino called them the walking dead. People that are alive but unconscious. Anyway, so our brain is fundamentally made up of two key functions. You know, the one function is the conscious, and the other function is the subconscious. Sub stands for, you got it, underneath. It's everything that sits underneath the conscious. Now, exact figure, I don't know, but people bandy a figure around of our conscious makes up about 7% of our brain's process, and our subconscious makes up about 93% of our brain's process, or stuff that comes from our brain. So what I've learned is that pretty much everything that we do, all the decisions we make, come out of our subconscious, and every single thing that's happened to you in your life is stored in your subconscious. Now, I look at a brain like a computer, and I say this is that the conscious is like the operating system, and the subconscious is like the hard drive. Now, what does the hard drive hold? It holds all the memory. So every single memory that you have, every single experience, every single discussion you've had in your life is stored in your subconscious. And what happens, like a computer, is when you get some form of stimulation, your conscious mind goes down into your subconscious, retrieves a memory, retrieves a reaction form, and that reaction comes up. So I'm just going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you a word, and that word is salesman. What came up as soon as I said that word salesman? What came up? Now, for many people, words like liars, convincers, gift of the gab, all that sort of stuff comes up. Cheaters. For some people, it's positive, but for many people, that word salesman or sales is negative. So when I asked you that question, really what I'm looking for and what came up is this thing. It's called your little voice. Yeah, you have a little voice? And then I'll ask you this. You like me, you have more than one little voice? What little voice? That little voice right now that's saying, what little voice? How many little voices do I have? That little voice that speaks to us all the time. That little voice that pushes us forward or holds us back. That little voice that picks us up or pushes us down. That little voice that makes us feel good or makes us feel bad. That little voice. Yes, you know the little voice. That is the most important sale of all. First of all, the sale we make to ourselves. Why? Because if you can't sell to yourself on a reason why you can, you'll sell to yourself on a reason why you can't. If you can't sell to yourself on a reason why you should, you'll sell to yourself on a reason why you shouldn't. Doesn't matter. Whatever happens, you're going to make a sale. The question is are you selling yourself on the things that are going to allow you to create success? You see, we can teach you, or you can learn a lot of skills. You can learn lots of sales skills. In fact, I'm pretty sure that you've learned or could have learned a lot of sales skills. I'm pretty sure that through school, through your education, you've learned a lot of skills. But how many of you realize that skills will only get you so far? You see, having skills is one thing. Applying skills and being able to utilize them in the right time, the right place, and the right situation is a different thing. What we observe for most people is most people do life like this. They get skills and it starts improving and it starts getting better, and then it starts to plateau out. And then we create things like frustration and that sort of stuff and try get more and more skills. However, what we find is this, is that skills really, really kick in when you change the sale you make to yourself. And what is that sale you make to yourself all about? It's all about a thing that we call personal development. Personal development. What are you developing yourself as? How are you developing yourself as? And what we've learned is that when you put these two things together, when you put personal development with skills development, this is what you find. You find that your success rate goes up and down, and suddenly it absolutely explodes, absolutely change. Because what you do is you change your mindset, you change your thinking, you change your being, and it allows you to be able to apply the skills that you've learned. For most people, picking up the phone is not a problem. Pretty much, if you're on this call, you'll have a cell phone. You pick up the cell phone. If I said to you, phone some mates for a braai, a barbecue, a get-together, a couple of drinks at home, a tea and coffee afternoon, whatever it might be, I'm pretty sure for most people don't have a problem picking up the phone saying, hello, John, we're having a braai, do you want to come? But if I said to you, go phone 20 customers cold, suddenly we have a problem with the phone. Now that's not skill, because you can dial the numbers, you can speak, you know what to say, but what kicks in is that little voice. That little voice that starts telling us what people are going to say when we pick up that phone. That little voice that starts creating all the stories in our head about why it's not going to work. It's that little voice that we really need to sell to. In the Sales Explosion program, I spend at least 50% of the 2.5 days helping you work through your little voice. My mentor, Blair Singer, wrote a book called Little Voice Mastery, and in that book, he expands on 21 tools and techniques that can help you dramatically push through your little voice. And when you can push through your little voice, you can create phenomenally different results. You know, I've had the opportunity and currently do some work pretty closely with Robert Kiyosaki, and over the years, I've had the opportunity to work with Robert and teach some of his programs and some of his stuff. One of the first times I ever met him, I asked him what was one of his keys to success. You know what he said to me? He said, my ability to overcome my little voice is probably much greater than your ability to overcome yours. Why? Because I've invested way more time, money, effort, and energy in changing the way I think than you probably have as in yourself. He didn't say it's the amount of skill I have. He didn't say it's the degrees I have. He said it's my ability to overcome my little voice. You know, how many of you can associate with this? That you want to take a risk, but it's that little voice that's stopping you. You know in your heart that if you go do it, it's going to be a success, but that little voice is saying, don't do it, don't be stupid, you can't do that. You know, how many of you want to do something different in your life? How many of you want to do something more exciting in your life? You know, how many of you just know that what you're doing, if you just keep doing it and you do it with a total different energy level, you'll create totally different results and transform where you're at. But something's holding you back in your head. That's your little voice. So the first and most important sale of all is the sale to your little voice. And when you learn how to overcome that little voice, that shifts everything inside of you. That allows you to create and leverage the skills that you have, and it also will allow you to go and find other skills that maybe you didn't even know that you needed to be able to leverage and implement to create very, very different results. So the first key area of sales is the sale to yourself. The second area is the area of skill. So at the Sales Explosion program, I'll take you through what we call the sales cycle. Now, sales is a process. Sales has a cycle. So I'm going to take you through this and give you an idea of what a typical sales cycle is that I would implement and work with business owners on. So the first step in the sales cycle. The first step in the sales cycle is find customers. You know, if you had 20 more customers in your business in the next 2 months, what difference would that make to your income? Probably quite a big difference. What difference would that make to your belief, to your morale? So importantly, it's to start off with finding customers with money. Peter Drucker says this. Peter Drucker says that the purpose of a business, no, it's not to make money. The purpose of a business is to find and keep customers. The goal of a business is to make money. When you find and keep customers and you have a good business model that makes profit, you'll make money. Too many people are out there focused just on making money, and they make money at the expense of customers and lose customers. So the first step in the program is find customers. Understand who your customers are. Start generating a clear understanding of who your target customer base is. When you understand that, one, it'll make your job a whole lot easier, because when you're talking to the people that you're talking to the right people. I don't know, some of you are doing a huge amount of work and getting no results, pretty simply because you're just talking to the wrong people. I've learned this. There's certain people that are going to like me, and there's certain people that are not. There's certain people that are going to buy from me, and there's certain people that are not. But I'm clear on who those people are. And I'm looking for the people that are looking for me. But I've got an understanding of what makes up my typical ideal customer base. So once you've got a list and you've identified who those key customers are, then you've got to take the next step. And the next step is really where sales starts coming into play. And sales, for me, sales is an action game. Say it after me. Sales is an action game. Sales is not a couch rugby game. Sales is not a sitting in the office game. Sales is an action game, and sales are made out on the streets. Sales are made out connecting with people. Sales are made knocking on doors. Sales are made getting in other people's worlds. Sales are made connecting with people, solving their problems. Sales is an action game. The best sales guys that I've ever worked with are the guys that take the most action. Not the guys that articulate the best, think the best, know the best about their products, but the guys that take more action than anyone else. And when they take action, that's when they get great learnings. That's what makes them great at understanding products, understanding people, because they're out there taking action. So the step, once you've got a list of customers, I don't know about you, but I learned pretty fast that a list of customers on my wall doesn't make me money. I've got to get out and I've got to go and connect and meet those customers. So the next step in the sales cycle is this. You've got to approach and make contact. You've got to approach and make contact and get hold of people. Pick up the phone, book appointments, send out, there's various ways to approach and contact. I specialize in teaching two key areas. One, B2B. For some people, B2B means business to business. For me, it means belly to belly, person to person, mana a mana. That means get together with each person in front of other people. And then the second thing that I teach is belly to many, your belly to many bellies, the art of presenting, the art of creating leverage. But I've learned this, and I don't know, let me ask you this. How many of you ever closed a multi-million rand or dollar deal over the internet? When I ask that question in my seminars, very rarely do I ever get a hand that comes up. People make lots of money on the internet, but very rarely have I ever met people that have closed multi-million rand or dollar deals. Where do they close them? In meeting rooms, in boardrooms, in coffee shops, in front of people, person to person, one-on-one, one to many. So you've got to get in front of people. The Sales Explosion Program, I'll equip you how to connect with people, get in their world, and get in their world fast to find out what it is they need. When you approach and contact and you get in front of people, the step that you need to become good at is being able to pitch. You need to be able to pitch. You need to be able to connect with people so you get in their world fast. And then to create leverage, you learn how to present. So a simple pitch, 30 second, 60 second, what's termed an elevator pitch. Hi, my name is Barry Mitchell. I'm part of a team called Uncovering Greatness for over 20 years. I've worked with thousands of individuals and hundreds of businesses all around the world to help them dramatically explode their income anywhere from 20% to as much as 300 or 400%. Right now, are you looking at a way to dramatically increase your income? If you are, well, I have a program that you might be interested in. But I quickly connect and find out it's all about them, it's not about me. And when the person says, yes, I am, I go, great. And then I ask them questions. Get in their world. So step number 3 is pitch and present. Once you've pitched, once you've presented, more often than not, this is going to come up. And this is what most people are scared of. They're scared of a no. So it's going to come up as a no. You want to know. You want an objection. You want it to come up, because when it comes up, that's when you can really connect with people and take them through the process. Objection handling, probably the single most important, outside of asking questions and connecting with people, probably the single most important skill in sales, in communication, in conflict resolution, in negotiation, is the ability to handle objections. The ability to handle objections without telling, without convincing, but getting in the other person's world and getting them to move themselves from a no to a yes. In the Sales Explosion Program, I spend a lot of time teaching you how to get people to shift from a no to a yes without convincing them, with getting them to convince themselves that that's the move they need to make. Once you move people from a no to a yes, then you need to close. And when's the sale closed? When the money's in the bank. But it's not as difficult as most people make out. If you're connecting with people and you're connecting with the right people and you're getting in their world and you're uncovering problems and you're making it all about them, the close will happen. I don't believe there's a time when it's like, now's the right time to close. You're always closing through that process. Once you've closed and a sale is closed, when the money's in the bank, you got it. When the money's in the bank, up until then it's charity. And if you're a business owner, hopefully you're not intentionally not running a charity business. Funny enough, even for charity organizations, the deal's closed when the money's in the bank. They need to get money in. So once you closed, then you go to the next step. And the last step is this. It's keeping people in your world. It's building relationships. And it's creating the opportunity for future sales. And that's really following up. And when you follow up well and you build great relationships, you drive things like testimonials and referrals. And when you drive testimonials and referrals, it takes you all the way to the top to find customers. So, 2 key areas: personal development